Hey guys, it's Lion here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing our TBR video. Today we're going to be doing it for August, and it's going to be shorter than usual, I think, because I've realized that I have a lot of novels to read, and so I want to read more novels, but they take more time than comic books and manga, and so it's going to be like a shorter TBR, even though I'm technically reading about the same or more, and that's because I want to focus on these novels. However, because of my video schedule, I might end up having to read more than I mentioned here, so it is what it is. I'll just read whatever I happen to have to read, while also making sure to go through this. So let's look at the titles here. First of all, some stuff from previous months. A few volumes of Yagan. I haven't been back to Yagan since I last reviewed it on the channel many months ago. I think almost a year and a half ago at this point. So I do want to come back to Yagan. And instead of reading all of it in one go, I think I'm going to focus on a few volumes at a time and get whatever arc reviews I can out of that as we go. So I'll probably aim for the first 2 or 3 volumes of Yagan here to reread, re-review, and then start from there afterwards, right? So yeah, then I have Akahashi Sci-Fi Book Club 2, which is right up there, as you guys can see, which I haven't read because I never started it, and I do want to start it. I already have 5 books of that series with me. Antonio Blanco has been nice enough to keep sending them to me, so I want to return the favor and be nice enough to review them for him. So yeah, then we have Our World's Magic number 3, which again is up there somewhere. I think it's right below, right there, yeah. And again, he keeps sending them to me, and I want to be nice and return the favor and keep reviewing them for him, so I will do that. Now, those are 2 different guys, but they do the same kind of a thing, and I want to return the favor for both of them. So, yeah, then we have Rogue Sun Arc 1. I mentioned this previously. I just didn't get around to reading it last month, but I do want to read that here this month. There's also a few other comic book series that I want to review, like Titans United Blood Pact, and The Forged. However, I probably can wait a bit on The Forged since the next part of the series doesn't come out until October, I think, or late September. So I have a few months, or actually a few weeks, to kind of find out if I need to read that or not. And also, it's just 3 issues, so it's not that big of a deal if I need to speed read it, right? Since I've already read it before. So that's it for the stuff that I have from many previous months ago. Now looking at the stuff from last month that I didn't finish reading, I need to get back to Cole, which I'm not in a rush to read, so I'll probably read a few stories. I might make a video talking about the stories, or I might not. I'm not really sure. I'll kind of decide that. I think the best way to look at this is probably to divide it into sections, and then be like, okay, within this time frame, I have to read this section, and do that based on how many stories I feel like reading at a time, right? Because these stories aren't necessarily long, but they're not really short either. They're not as small as you would think, based on being called short stories, right? So let's see. The first story is 10 pages. Next one is about 40. The one after that is about 12. Then it keeps going on like that with a lot of variety. Most of them seem to be between 10 to 30 pages. And so I just have to find a way to divide those into segments that I find satisfying to do, right? So, yeah, I'll figure that out on my own later. And maybe I'll do another video. Maybe I'll do videos kind of like how Michael Vaughn does them over on his channel. And maybe I'll do my own version of the Robert E. Howard show. I'm not really sure. Then we have Flame and Steel. I started reading this about 50 pages into it, and I do want to read this as soon as possible. I did promise Moonquill I would do that, and I have not lived up to that promise just yet, so I will get around to it. But I'm pretty excited about this because I really enjoyed what was happening here, what was being presented to me. So I'm definitely going to be trying my best to read this as soon as possible. However, because I am a mood reader, I probably will end up reading this first, which is Tarzan, The Son of Tarzan, book 4 in the Tarzan series by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm halfway through this, and I will probably finish this as soon as possible. And it might be one of the first things that I review for this month. I'm not really sure. It's possible. I'm not really sure if it will be or not because I have other interests as well. Also, I do have a few videos that I didn't get to release last month that I want to release this month. So yeah, then moving on, we have Lord of Goblins #1 in this redo edition. I still don't know what the difference is between them. Like, I know the original plan for the difference is that, you know, Michael Werbrook and Hadi Bendajic had this idea. They published this book, and then the reality is that the book had some issues, and they needed to work through it, right? So eventually, Mooncool started developing a webtoon for them, which is available on Webtoon right now, and it seems pretty fun. But when they sat down to do the webtoon, they actually had to modify the story again, and so the story that is the webtoon is currently the most correct version of the story. However, because they're ultimately a light novel first, they went back and fixed the light novel to better align with the comic book. And so this is the new version of it. And I don't know if I can glean anything from the chapters here since they don't have chapter names here initially. But the first chapter here seems to start with the same thing where Lev dies at the beginning. And then Gurm shows up and has to do some stuff in the situation where he's in the caves and he needs to deal with stuff and you know, that's when Lev gets isekai'd. So yeah, I need to read that as soon as possible as well. Otherwise, because of the fact that the new Wheel of Time season is going to come out next month, and the fact that I recently watched a few videos about the Wheel of Time. I watched an ableist video, then I watched a pair of videos from The Sword and the Pen, and she's this lady that works as a editor, I think, or a book agent, I don't remember, and she was reading the Wheel of Time for the first time as she was watching the show, and she makes these comparison videos between what she's read and what she's watched, and she talks about the story structure and the difficulties that the story is facing in the show. And I really enjoyed her content. I really liked her as an individual. I think she did a really great job with everything that she was doing. And so that, plus an ableist video, plus the fact that I went back and watched Daniel Green's reaction to the season, made me interested in the Wheel of Time again. And so it was time to pick up the fourth book in the series again and actually try to read it properly this time. So I partitioned this off here. This is the first half of the book here, and these are 2 partitions that I gave myself. And basically the point is that by the end of the week, I want to have read the first portion of this book so that once I get into the story, once I build up momentum, I will continue to read this. And hopefully I'll get to halfway through the book by the end of the month. If I don't, it's fine. And if I do, that's great. And if I read more than that, that's amazing, right? So I'm trying to trick myself into being a little bit more serious about my reading here because it's been many, many months since I've properly sat down to read, you know, fantasy novels, and I'm kind of getting that itch for them again. So yeah, that's it for that. Moving on to the comic books here, I have God Country, which was one of my birthday gifts from last month that I'm very excited about. And I want to get to this as soon as possible because it's one that I've been looking forward to a long time. So there you go. It also doesn't have like a specific theme that I might want to use in a future video or a future month of reading. So it was probably the safest choice for my birthday gifts to read as soon as possible. So there you go. That's God Country. There we go. There. And then I have 2 other books. So then we have 5 Ghosts because, again, it doesn't really necessarily fit any themes that I might have coming up in the future. And it's a short one. And it seems to only be 3 volumes. So it might be one that I want to collect as soon as possible so that I can kind of get that accomplishment, that feeling of like, hey, I did good here. So yeah, there you go. That's 5 Ghosts. It seems pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about this one. And the art style here reminds me of Firepower, the new Robert Kirkman book, but I'm not really sure if it's by the same guy. I don't think it is, but it kind of reminds me of scenes that I've seen from there. And then finally we have Battle Chasers. And this one is because I'm curious to see if I want to collect a new series or not. So I want to read this as soon as possible so that I don't have I don't have much trouble finding any of the back issues from the newly restarted series, which is issues 10 and 11, and I think 12 comes out this month. So I'm hoping for that. But honestly, even if I do end up liking it, I might actually trade wait, because with Image, trades come out basically a month after they reach 6 volumes. Or sorry, 6 issues of a story. And honestly, sometimes they come in like a week or 2 after we kind of get past the 6 issue mark. So I might be willing to trade wait for some of that stuff. I mean, I've been doing it for Radiant Black, and I haven't picked up any of the volumes, but I do want to eventually. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll probably trade wait for Battle Chasers, but I still want to know if I like the series or not and decide from there, right? So that's it for the comic books. Now moving on to the manga here. So first of all, I have Spy Family 4 and 5, because I really enjoyed what I read this past month, and I want to slowly clear out my my TBR shelf, because at this point it's overflowing. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, I had managed to basically make it almost 0 in terms of my TBR shelf. I had managed to be basically up to date on everything that I had. And then this year I've just had some really big hauls that have made it very difficult for me to keep up with the stuff that I've been buying. And so I need to slowly chip away at it. So here we go. We have Spy Family 4 and 5. And that actually covers 2 arcs, and there's going to be a little bit left over of volume 5. So I'll do one more video for that story, and then I'll do one next month as well. Then we have Ranking of Kings number 2. Now this one doesn't really help me in terms of video making, so maybe it's like a wasted read, but I don't really like thinking like that. I just mentioned it because I was thinking about it earlier. But the point is that even though I do this stuff to kind of make videos, I don't want to center my reading around that, specifically like force myself to read to make videos, because that makes 2 hobbies that I have, video making or YouTubing, and reading into a job. And I don't really want to do that because it's going to be harmful to my enjoyment, and it's going to remove some of the fun from these hobbies, right? But I do still kind of think about it even then, even if I don't really want to, because that's just kind of how I do things, right? So Ranking of Kings number 2, I love this cover, and I really like this cover here. This color, sorry, not this color on this cover. Sorry, I'm a bit tongue-tied today, I don't know. And I'm very excited to see where this goes. I mean, I already know where it goes, but I want to see how the story in the book kind of differs from the story in the anime. And I also need to finish watching the Treasure of Bravery, the Brave Treasure, whatever the little OVA that was releasing a while back is called, because I never finished it, because I was watching it with my roommates. It was coming out weekly, and we all kind of scattered at the beginning of the summer, and we haven't been able to come back to watch it. So yeah, then we have Drifting Dragons number 13 and 14, and I'm very excited about this. It's very nice to see this series come back, because it's been a while since we got any volumes of it, so it's nice. These basically came out 1 month apart from each other, which is kind of crazy. It's really rare for Kodansha series that are basically cut up to Japan to do this. And honestly, I think I probably will make a video about Drifting Dragons, since it's pretty unlikely we'll get another volume of it for, you know, maybe 6 months or a year from now. So I'll probably take the time to make a video talking about Drifting Dragons and why I like it so much. So yeah, and then finally, we have 2 more books here. We have My Dress Up Darling number 9. And is it 9? Yeah, sorry, I thought it was 8, but it is 9. And very excited about this. I think I might actually go back and reread the series, and then start doing like these arc reviews, or maybe season-based reviews, where I kind of look at a certain level of or a certain number of volumes in order to kind of provide you a clear picture of what's happening in the story. I'm not really sure. I haven't really decided, but I do want to make some content out of ongoing series. And usually that's by arc reviews, but some stories don't really have arcs in the same way that the Shonen Battle stuff is divided into arcs, so it's kind of difficult to do. But hopefully I find a way to do it, because I want to talk about the series quite a bit. And just making generic videos that are like, the series is good and I like it, is not that fun. And I also don't want to make video essays, because ultimately I find that to be a bit too difficult, as in the sense that like I have to develop new skills to do it, but also I don't feel that it would be satisfying to do for myself personally. So it's kind of, I'm kind of unsure about how to talk about content that isn't finished. And so that's why I usually do arc reviews, because that's like, it's not finished, but it's finished enough in this segment of the story to talk about it, right? So yeah, and then finally we have Business Proposal number 1. And I'm very excited about this one. I really like this little image here back there. And yeah, I'm excited to see what this is about. I have a general idea of what the premise is about, but I haven't sat down to watch it. And maybe I'll wrangle my sister into watching the show with me if I like the series. So yeah, there you go. That's my TBR video for this month. It's a little bit longer than the ones I've been doing lately, but I think it works out. Hopefully I wasn't too rambly or too tongue-tied here. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you guys are reading this month. And thank you guys very much for watching once again. And see you guys later.